Hello and welcome to my first podcast of 2024. My name is Nicole and I'm the brains and the beauty behind Yarncraft by Nicole. And I am so excited to be starting this year off with you. This is my first yarn chat of this year, and after taking about a month off, it feels good to get back at it. Starting the new year with a new mom cut. And we're going to talk more about that as we get into the episode, but very excited to be back here on YouTube. So I'll start with all of the fun things that we had since the last time we talked. So I took about a month off. My daughter Melody was born on December 11th. You might have seen the post that I did here on YouTube. I also did one on Instagram and on Facebook, but she's great. She's wonderful. We are absolutely smitten with her. We spent a couple of days in the hospital and then came back happy and healthy, had lots of family in here for the holidays. Both sides of our family were actually here for Christmas, so we had 11 adults and one baby in the house, which was very busy but really good. And it was great to have all of that family time and to see everybody's reactions to her, and just to have both sides of our family together at once. That does not happen very often. So it was really, really good. And yeah, I'm excited for what 2024 holds. Melody is currently hanging out with her dad and her grandma. We've had some extra help this first month, which has been awesome. My mom stayed with us for about 2 weeks until Christmas, and then my husband's mom has stayed with us like the 2 weeks after Christmas, and it's been great. It's been great to have that third person in the house to let us both sleep and to just be another source of wisdom as we raise this brand new baby. So very, very happy about all of that. I'm doing great. I'm healing up great. Melody, aka MJ, is doing great. She's a big girl. She was a little over 9 pounds when she was born, and she is now over 9.5 pounds. I think she was like 9 pounds 12 ounces at her last checkup, and that was a week ago. So she's a big girl, but she is absolutely thriving. So very happy about all that. And after the holidays and after seeing how much work long hair was going to be, I got myself an appointment and chopped off a lot of hair. I actually got this done last night and I absolutely love it. It's been a while since my hair has been this short, and I'm here for it. I keep having to remind myself that I don't have to try to throw it up or detangle it before picking her up to burp her. So big fan. So with all of that, let's get into the yarn. So I am wearing my holiday make of this year. I wanted to have a small project that was just for me to work on over the holidays. It was pretty simple. Last year I made a sweater. I made the goldfinch sweater over the holidays, and that was a lot of fun to have just a project that I started and finished when I had more free time. And while I haven't necessarily had more free time now, it has been nice to have a simple project to pick it up. So this is the Just Feel Festive wrap, and I will put the designer down below. I believe her first name is Caleisha, but I do not remember her last name off the top of my head. But one of the things that I'm going to be doing this year is, instead of just telling you the name of the pattern and the name of the yarn that I used in the pattern, I'm going to attempt to actually make Ravelry project pages. I know I really haven't done that other than for pattern tests, but I'm going to be doing that more. So hopefully by the time that I post this video, I will have already done that. But this is the Just Feel Festive Shawl, and it is designed for a 24 skein advent, and you hold fingering weight double. However, I did not have a 24 skein advent. I had a 13 mini skein set and a full skein. So mine is a little bit smaller than the pattern, but I really like it. I really like the size of this. I also had, I did not hold them double because my mini skeins were only 10 grams instead of 20. So it's really, really pretty. I made tassels. I never made tassels before. I feel like my tassel game can improve, but they look nice. They look fun. I still might try to even them up a little bit more than they are now. But the yarn that I used for this was a new to me yarn dyer that I had seen a lot online. And this is yarn from Ruby and Roses. And this was her Festive Cheer mini set. And then the main color, or the big skein that I used, was her mistletoe mixer. So all part of her, I think it was like cozy Christmas collection, something like that. Oh, and check out these earrings. I don't know if you can see them because they are clear acrylic. But these are from Bah Humble on Instagram. And she had stitch markers and earrings, and these have been my favorite ones to wear this holiday season. I actually wore these to the doctor's office the other day, and our pediatrician was a big fan. So yeah, this is the Just Feel Festive Shawl, and it's great, and I love it. I bet it would be super cozy with more mini skeins and held double. The pattern is very inexpensive. I think it was $1 on Ravelry, so go get you one. It was great. So this was my holiday make. The project that I started that also uses mini skeins right before we went into the hospital, and I had everything except for I had not blocked it and I had not seamed up the back. Everything else was done before we went into the hospital, and that was this. So this is the ginger cowl from TL Yarncrafts that she did a couple of years ago with an Advent box, and again, I did not have an Advent. I think it was designed for 12 minis, but I had 10 minis from the Frosted Stitch, and I really like the size. I don't know that I would have necessarily wanted it any bigger than it was. And I got it on tweed. I got the Frosted Stitches. This was her Spices collection, which I do not think is available any longer. Mini skein spices set, and I had a lot of fun making this. And this was another one that was kind of mindless once I got it going, and it's super fun to wear. It's a great bandana style cowl that has a good depth to it, because some of the ones that I have are smaller or larger, including some of the ones I've designed. So this one is a nice, like, chunkier one. So I like this a lot. I love Krista's yarn from the Frosted Stitch, so it's always fun to work with. But these were my two holiday makes. I did make, I don't know, 10 gifts for Christmas, but you can see all of those on my Instagram. I did a post. That way I could tag the designers in it, because I made a pillow for my mother-in-law. I made the table runner for my mom. I made an ear warmer for my sister. I made my sister a pillow. I made her fiance a flip dana, which I'm going to make myself one because that one was a lot of fun to do. Which is another bandana style cowl. And I made my sister-in-law a wall hanging. I made her girlfriend a scarf. I think that's it. I think that's all that I made. I also made our dog sitter a scarf, but I did not put that in the post because I forgot to take a picture of it before we gifted it. But yes, I did a lot of those, but I don't have any of those with me anymore. So these are the two newest finished objects, kind of. I also, before MJ was born, I was worried I didn't have enough hats for her that were warm. So I put a call out on Instagram for baby hat patterns, and a couple of people recommended the Mega Pom Beanie from TL Yarncrafts, and Tony was kind enough to gift me the pattern. So I made a couple of them. We actually had MJ wear this one in like my sides. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. In my sides Christmas card picture, and it was very cute. She's got a big head, so I don't know how much longer this one will fit her. But the Mega Pom Beanie has sizes from newborn to adult, I think. And I already had other people request some for me, like a friend of mine who did not have hats for her kids in Florida, and then it got cold in Florida and they needed hats, so they got Mega Pom Beanies too. But I just did without the poms. But it's super cute. I don't know what yarn this was. This was just yarn I had in stash that I thought was warm and would look cute on her, and it was, and it did. the other thing about hats is a really fun project, so that's what I'm going to show you next. This is my last, well, yeah, I've got this, and then I've got something that's kind of like a whip and a finished object. So there was a hat pattern that came out from Rocks, from Eat Wander Crochet, called the Into the North hat, and it looked really cool, and I saw some people that test it, and when I saw it, I was like, I think this is going to be a great hat for Vaughn, because the hats that I've made him in crochet are just not warm enough, and I have not sewn in a fleece lining to any of them. And I just haven't nailed down a good hat for him that's warm and that is crochet, because I don't knit often or well enough to do a hat. That being said, this pattern came out, Into the North hat, and I loved it. I thought it would be great for him, and so I worked on it sneakily without him seeing me working on it before we went into the hospital. And so I finished it. I actually didn't end up blocking it. The yarn I used for this is vintage from Berroco, and it's a wool and acrylic blend. It's actually left over from our matching Christmas sweaters, which these are also very cute. If you haven't seen those, go to my Instagram or read my blog because they're very cute. So I made him this hat, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to give it to him for Christmas or if I wanted to give it to him before then, because I finished it before we went into the hospital. We went into the hospital on the 10th. Yes, we went into the hospital on the 10th. So made him the hat, and I still had some yarn left over. And so I said, what I would like to do is to make a mini one for MJ. And so I did. So I didn't finish this one until after we got home from the hospital, but I had it with me. And so while we were in the hospital, long story short, I was induced. It was a couple of days beyond my due date. I knew I was having a very large baby, and so I got induced, and then that took a very long time, and then I ended up needing a C-section, which was 100% the right call, even though it felt scary at the time. But we were all good, we were all happy, and it was 100% the right thing to do. But while we were doing the induction part, that's a very long process, and you need something to distract you during that process, because it is unpleasant if it's a long process, and for me it was. So I gave him his hat then and told him the plan for the baby hat, and he really liked it, and he honestly hadn't seen me work on it, and I was very surprised that he had not seen me work on it. So I love this project, and I love this hat, and he actually wears it, and it's actually warm enough, and I would make it again. I wasn't sure if he would wear this color, because most of the hats that he wears are black, but now that I know that I have a pattern that he likes, I feel like anytime he needs a hat, I can make him another one. And it is a very made to measure hat, which I had mixed feelings about it when I started it, but I'm really glad that it was made to measure by the time I finished it. So sometimes I just want a pattern that tells me what to do, because that's why I bought the pattern. I just want to know what size to do and just knock it out and not have to do any math. But because this hat has such a great ribbed texture, you want it to be a well-fitting hat, and the designer Rocks knew that and had played around with it a lot, and so it did require some math. Thankfully, I already had his head measurement for a hat that my dad wanted to buy him for Christmas, so that part was easy. And then I just figured out what I wanted to do for the top part and for the ribbing. That being said, it was great, and it was so much fun to do. It does have short rows. It does have slip stitch ribbing, which are both things that are generally not my jam, but it's a really fun and cool hat. And because the texture changes pretty often as you're doing this side to side, it's easy not to get bored. It's kind of potato chippy, where you want to just get to the next section. I will throw it on my head, even though I know that I might mess up my hair, but yeah, it's super cute. I do not generally wear hats unless I have to, but I did buy myself some de-stash yarn, and I think it would be enough to make myself a hat, so I might make myself one in yellow. But yes, Into the North hat. This there's also a Into the North cowl, ear warmer, and fingerless mitts that all come in one pattern, and then you can buy the hat pattern separately. Now that I've done the hat pattern, I want to make the cowl, and because it's made to measure, there are yardage estimates from her testers about how much yardage they used for their hats, but it's made to measure, and you're kind of making up you're kind of making your own gauge anyway. You could use whatever weight you wanted. So I have some really chunky bright blue yarn that I used in a scarf that I don't ever wear. And I'm thinking about taking it out and then using that into an Into the North cowl, because I think that would be really pretty. But yes, Eat Wonder Crochet, super cute. I have a picture of the two of them wearing their matching hats at the dog park on my Instagram, and it's in the blog post, but I love it. And it makes me happy because it's something that they can both use. And because it's a little bit more forgiving than some of the other hats that are made top down or bottom up, since it's made side to side. This one will fit her a little bit longer. And I think the next hat I will do for her, I will probably make it deeper so she can wear it longer. But those are my finished objects, and I've got a lot of ideas for things I want to start here in the next few weeks. My goal is to do a video before I start them and then rock and roll. So I've got some Project Linus blankets. Those are blankets that I donate going right now, or like just random other things to do with scrap yarn until I'm ready to start my next big project. But I have a couple that I really want to do. But one of the things that I want to do is use up a lot of the scraps that I have. So I have a lot of fingering weight scraps, which I haven't really decided what I want to do with those yet. But I also had a decent chunk of DK weight scraps. And so some of them I am just making into granny squares. And I'm just going to make a big old granny square blanket with them. I think I'm not going to do a join as you go method for these. That is why they have tails on them. But I'm just gonna make a ton of them, and then whenever I feel like I'm done, make it into a blanket. I think it'll be pretty. And they're small. They're only 3 rounds. Pretty granny squares. But it's another chance to use this yarn again, which is a lot of really fun hand-dyed yarns. So that's what I'm doing if I have a very small amount of DK scraps. So like some of these will wind up in that granny square blanket. But the other thing that I'm doing, after I had so much fun making the quilt pillow for my sister and the quilt table runner for my mom, is I kind of want one for me that's a quilt blanket. So I did this one to use up some scraps. This star is called a Martha Washington star, and this one was really fun to do. So what I think I'm going to do is anytime I buy, because I bought a couple of, I think I bought 2 skeins of mystery yarn that's DK, and for like random one-off skeins that I don't know what I'm going to do with, that are kind of bright like this, I'm going to put them into a blanket for me. So love this, and it's a way for me to play around with more quilt squares, because my goal is to either in January or February do some tutorials for how to make these with a variety of quilt block types. So gonna look forward to that, but I really like it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And with that, I think that wraps up all of my projects. So now I'm going to show you yarn. I think I stopped podcasting before my birthday. My birthday is December 3rd. MJ's birthday is now December 11th. So, and then there's Christmas and New Year's. So December is always going to be busy for us, which I'm not mad at. But I have a lot of yarn to show you. So some of this was birthday presents and some of this was Christmas presents. So I'm going to start with, do I want to just go by Dyer? That probably makes the most sense. And I think I'm forgetting one that's up here. Yes, I am. So I'm going to start with birthday yarn. No, yarn avalanche. Would help if I had done this earlier, but I thought I had. That's all right. Okay, so let's talk about birthday yarn by Dyer. One of this was sent to me for my birthday, and one of this was sent to me for Christmas. So this Dyer is a new to me Dyer. It's actually like a family friend of ours. She and my mom, well, her mom and my mom were really good friends back in the day, back in the homeschool days. And now she dyes yarn. So that's pretty great. And when my mom heard about that, she was like, well, I need to go buy some for my daughter because she uses yarn. So Pandemonium3 Dyeworks is the name of the company. And she does not currently have an Etsy shop, but she is on Facebook. So Instagram. So Pandemonium3 Dyeworks. So this was the one I got for my birthday. It is a sock set. Both of these are sock sets. This one is inspired by Driftwood Beach in Georgia, which is off of Brunswick, East Georgia. And it's beautiful and I love it. Whether or not it will focus, there you go. I'm a big fan of like these shades of blue, and I think this one was in her like clearance rack because my mom had me shop for myself via FaceTime actually. So this one was one of the ones I picked up and I really like it. I will not be making socks with this because I don't generally make socks, but I do want to design with it some kind of a way. But I like it a lot. I think it'll be really pretty. And it has 2 mini skeins, so I'll have a little bit more fun that I can have with that. I don't know what this wants to become. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below, because both of these sock sets, I have not decided what they're going to become. So the other sock set that I got, she had a lot of really pretty purples, and I don't have a ton of purples in my handmade wardrobe. So this one, I don't think this has a colorway name on it. No, it doesn't. Okay, so this one is another sock set from Pandemonium3 Dyeworks. I really like this variegated. It's really pretty. And honestly, this might become something for MJ. I could see this in a little sweater. There would be enough from the minis to do ribbing. This one I might not design with. That might just become an MJ project. But if you have any suggestions, let me know below. Really like both of those. And she has a lot of neons. That is one of the things that she likes to dye. So if you're interested in that, check out Pandemonium3 Dyeworks. The other yarn that I got, I think the rest of it is all Sewrella yarn. So my sister got me a Sewrella mini skein set, one of her small ones, from her fall collection. I do love blues, so these are perfect. This is the Day Hike sock set, but I had already shopped her fall collection, and so I had bought myself the Hearthside sock set. So this was the whole collection right there together. You could buy it as one, or you could buy it in 2. And then when I bought mine, I also bought the vintage flannel. So now I have all of them, and they probably all need to be in a project together, I think. One of the things that I'm doing is the mini skein crochet along from Not Mad Brit, and these might get used in that. I haven't decided. There's a pretty shawl that Brittany designed that would use all of these, I believe. So I might do that, but really big fan of that. My sister was smart because she said she wanted to buy me yarn, and she knows I like hand dyed yarn, so she just went to my Instagram and looked up people I had tagged in posts. Like, it's pretty smart. If you're not sure and you're trying to be sneaky, that would be a way to do it for gifts. But yes, it was great. Love it. And then the other thing from, oh, and then for Christmas, she, her fiance crochets. I don't remember if she knits too, but she definitely crochets. And Erin was trying to think of a good hook to get me, and she knew I liked a particular type of ergonomic hook. And Chelsea, her fiance, said, oh, it's probably a furls, and I am a furls girl for sure. So they got me this gorgeous resin hook, and I can't wait to work with it. It's gonna be so much fun. It's really dark, like galaxy blue. I don't know how well that's picking up, but big fan of that. And that was a great buy from them. And then the last bit of yarn was a present I bought for myself, because Sewrella had these countdown boxes that you could use to count down to Christmas or to New Year's, or on the first few days of Hanukkah, anything that you wanted to count down. I thought about using it to count down to my birthday, but it did not get here in time. And then I thought about counting down to my due date, but by that time it was so close to Christmas, so I was like, I'm not gonna have time to work on this anyway, so I'll just wait. And so it was fun to open once we got back from the hospital. So these are the, let me break these up a little bit. I got the 5 skein countdown box. I think you get 5 or 10. And it was inspired by Christmas at Downton Abbey, which I love Downton Abbey. I've been rewatching it with my husband. And I got it on the Stellina sock. And these are just like the little bows that came with it. I had them hanging from the tree for a little bit. So there are 5 skeins. Oh good, the Stellina's coming across. Sewrella is all about a vibe and an aesthetic. So her Stellina is gold and it's great. So I love these. There is a cowl in the mini skein crochet along called the Brixel cowl that I think I'm going to be making with these. I already bought the pattern and it only needs 5. Actually, I think it might require 6 mini skeins, but I think I'm gonna cheat it and do it with 5. But yeah, really like these. They're so very pretty. And I can't wait to work with them. But part of me just wants to stare at them a little bit longer because they're so pretty. And with that, I think that's all I've got for us today. So one of the things, or some of the things that I'm hoping to do a little bit differently in 2024 is I'm planning on recording the podcast a couple of days before I release it. So today is Friday. I'm recording on Friday and my goal is to release it on Monday. That way I can give y'all some better show notes instead of doing it all in one day, and make sure that any of the projects that I talk about, I do have Ravelry projects already up so that you can go check those out. So that is one thing that I'm going to do a little differently. So podcasts will probably come out on Mondays and get recorded on Fridays. That way I can have the same outfit for my Friday fits that I do on Instagram, because as a new mom, I'm trying to maximize the time that I have. And with that, I hope that you had a great holiday season and are looking forward to a bright 2024. I know that I am, and I will see you right back here next week. Bye guys.